bothered with before because the door used to be stuck. But that day, it wasn't. It was already open. Inside was almost nothing. Just a cracked mirror leaning against the wall, and what looked like scratch marks on the wooden floor near the window. They were small. They looked like claw marks, close together, repeated. I remember crouching down and running my hand over them. They weren't new, but they weren't ancient either. I had a weird intrusive thought. Someone's lived here once. It was a strange thought to have. Of course someone had. But the thought felt like it was given to me in a territorial way. When we got home that night, our kitchen was a disaster. Fruit everywhere. Trash knocked over. And then I noticed something else. The hallway carpet near the laundry room. It had these subtle depressions in it, like something had walked through while it was freshly vacuumed. Small impressions, 4 at a time. After that, the cat activity escalated. My mom felt it on the bed 2 times. Once she said she distinctly felt it kneading the blanket near her feet. The rhythmic push of paws. I started hearing something at night. Soft movement along the baseboards in my room. It wasn't scratching, just brushing, like fur against drywall. I never saw anything, but one night I woke up and I felt the dip in my mattress near my ankles. There was no weight on my chest or paralysis. I could definitely move, but I didn't. I just lay there, waiting. I felt the slow, careful pressure shift across the bed and then settle right against my feet. I don't know how long I stayed like that before finally forcing myself to sit up and flip on the lamp. Nothing. Blankets undisturbed. Door closed. And silent. We did stop coming to the mansion after that year. Not because of anything specific. I think we just grew out of it. The disturbances in our house slowly faded too. My room was knocked over. Trash cans tipped. My mom never felt that cat again. Life just normalized, and we did get a cat of our own. So, I don't know. Years later, after we moved away, I mentioned to her casually. She asked me something I wasn't expecting. Did you ever feel like something followed you home? I hadn't told her about the scratch marks that I found at the house, or the mattress dipping. She said she always felt like whatever was in our house wasn't trying to scare us, that maybe it was confused, like it expected something from us. Apparently she thought about this thing quite a bit, but wasn't aware that we'd spent so much time in that house. I probably could have chalked a lot of it up. Old houses make you imaginative. Teenagers stir up stories. Parents dream. I did feel that impression in my mattress. And to my mom's theory, nothing had ever happened in our 70s house before we started exploring that mansion. And nothing happened once we stopped. So if it was just a raccoon or a stray cat, why did it only move at night? And why did it stop? Why did we never find fur, the droppings, about that summer. At least the fear it gave me. The details of my grandma's death, the balloons, the whispering crew. It had all faded into the same memory. Until one day, Mom asked me to do laundry. The washer and dryer were in the basement. They were one of the clunky machines that typically might catch fire if left unattended. The stairs to the basement were narrow and uneven. And only one light bulb hung overhead, suspended from a string. My only distraction was a tiny handheld TV my grandfather kept nearby. It had an antenna a shadow though. And the fridge. Never done that before. I opened it again, closed it, turned around slowly, trying to recapture whatever had happened. Nothing. It was normal. I didn't tell my wife right away because I didn't want to sound ridiculous. But later, when we were getting ready for bed, she casually mentioned something that made my stomach drop. She asked if I had come through the house earlier. I told her no, just after I stopped by the new place. She said around 7:30, she had this sudden strong feeling that I was standing behind her in the kitchen. Not a passing thought, a physical awareness, like someone just walked into the room. She even turned around expecting to see me. No one was there. She thought it was weird, but had to brush it off. I told her it wasn't me, for sure, but I told her about the swipes I'd experienced. It's all just super weird, I guess. It's not exactly the new house that's giving us problems. It's our old one, which I guess is good. But we've never experienced anything like this before. Not once. We officially moved into the new place next week. I haven't been back over there alone since that particular time. Part of me wants to go sit in that empty house at night to see if anything happens. Part of me doesn't. I'm not jumping to conclusions. I'm not calling it haunted. I will say this. I've never had to physically dodge nothing before. I'll garage door to be a fluke and hope that it's not something more. But if something does happen, I'll update here. I'll never forget this trip. It was 2019. Me and 3 friends went down to New Orleans for a long weekend. We were just trying to have fun. Bourbon Street, vignettes, all that. But the thing about New Orleans is, it's got layers. There's the part everyone sees, the jazz, the food, the nightlife. And then there's this other side. Dark, heavy. You feel it as soon as you get off the main street. That night, we'd already been drinking a little, just walking around. And I remember this woman, older, thin, with this red scarf tied around her head. She stopped what she was doing and looked right at me. Didn't say a word, just kind of mouthed something, like a warning. My friends thought it was funny, but it gave me chills. Later, we wandered off bourbon. We shouldn't have, but we did. We ended up on 2 feet streets, way quieter, real empty. And that's when we heard this sound, like drums, real faint, coming from somewhere down the block. I don't know why we followed it. That's when we found this little shop. No lights outside except a candle flickering in the window. The sign said something like, "Spirits walk here." My buddy pushed the door, and it opened right up. The air inside was thick, like incense mixed with rust. Jars on the shelves, dolls hanging from the ceiling with their eyes stitched shut. It didn't look like no tourist voodoo shop. You know what I mean? It felt real, too real. And in the corner, there she was. The woman with the red scarf. Same one from earlier. She looked right at me and said clear as day, "You don't belong here." That's when Jessica, my friend, just froze. She locked eyes on this doll. It was sitting on an altar, and she couldn't move, wouldn't blink. Her whole body started swaying, like she was in a trance. And then she started whispering, except it wasn't her voice. It was lower, almost like 2 people speaking at once. We were shaking her, calling her name, but it was like she was gone. The woman in the scarf just kept chanting, louder and louder. And then all at once, every candle lit next morning, she woke up with no memory of any of it. Just 3 scratches down her arms, like someone had clawed her. And she still doesn't talk about that night. If you bring it up, she shuts it down completely. But me, I haven't been able to shut that out. Those drugs, slow and steady, like they're waiting. And I know that whatever was in that shop that night, it wasn't finished when we left. I was the second youngest of 5 children. We were as close as we could get with 7 people growing up in a 3-bedroom house. My oldest brother just turned 25, and I was 19 in May of 98. I was taking a nap in my parents' living room. I dreamt of my brother on his motorcycle. It was as if I was watching him right in front of me, but he didn't know I was there. He'd stop and spoke to my cousins, making jokes. They offered him a beer and he said, "No, I gotta get home." The dream was clear as day as he got into his bike, drove down the road until a postal van pulled out in front of him, causing his death. It woke me up with a startle when they collided. I was so confused that I was dreaming. 2 seconds later, the phone rang. Another cousin told me that there was a motorcycle wreck close by. After announcing it to my siblings, my father hung the phone up, called my uncle asking if he'd seen my brother, and I realized my brother was actually out on his motorcycle. He'd wrecked on the exact road of my dream and died hitting the postal van. I later found out that he'd been to my cousin's house too, exactly like my dream. It was the darkest day of my life. Over the years, I've come to the conclusion that there exists a connection between loved ones. A deep connection that no one can explain. I know I saw my brother's last day of my dream, and it gives me hope that there is still mystery in the world, and I'll see him again. I only got the gig at the mill, Watson's Mill, because my friend Jen couldn't stop talking about community grants. They'll pay you a screen paint, she said, waving a phone like it was a gold ticket. Heritage restoration, fresh faces, we love that. I do not have what anyone would call a restoration background. I have a left shoulder that clicks when I carry lumber, and a playlist of painting themes but making cozy. That's the vibe that I brought to the job. Capable enough, mildly underqualified, eager for a paycheck. The mill sits on the bend of a lazy river, half an hour outside of Ottawa. A rectangle of limestone, timber beams, glass panes that waddle in their frames. It's a building we visit on a snowfield trip and swear that you'll come back to it in the fall when the leaves go red, which you never do. It smells like damn stones and flour, even though no brains have been through those stones for decades. They're making it a small museum again. Interpretive science, a gift made for them that stocks candies and tea towels with tasteful wheat motifs. The crew is a mix of a serious carpenter named Alex, a retired teacher who knows every nail's proper name, and me, who asks where we keep the big scrapey thing, and is handed a carding brush. The first week it's all scaffolding and tarps. The second week we're inside, patching hairline cracks and consolidating with water. The mill machinery is there, working and quiet. The wooden chute for the grain, the dresser, the leather belts looped over iron pulleys. The governor that looks like something that belongs on a steampunk poster. 2 metal balls that would spin out at the speed to regulate the stiffness. It's beautiful, blunt. You can imagine it roaring. Local lore does the rounds almost immediately. A volunteer at the key ringing the size of the salad plate tells us not to worry if we hear footsteps on the 3rd floor, because that's just the building settling. Someone else mentions a girl who died in the mill in the 1800s, and then corrects themselves. No, it was a young woman, and the story's more complicated. Anyway, don't work alone late. We laugh. It's July, 4:30 sunset. consequence or a problem for future us. But I don't experience something late after hours. It's a Tuesday, maybe 3 p.m., which has got to be the least haunted time of day. Alex goes out to the truck to call the electrician. The retired teacher, Mr. Doyle, he insists on Mr. His counting screws in that way the retired teachers count things. Methodically and for real. The river outside is summer easy. The spillway half closed. I go downstairs to search for the room. The first floor is cool and cave-like. Stones on all three sides of the river leaking through the window on the fourth. You can smell rain here, even stronger. A ghost odor I can't place. Sweet, stale, something like old cereal boxes. I stand a second because it feels good on my sunburned skin. And then I remember the broom closet is near the main shaft, where the wheel connects to a fat iron rod that once turned everything. I don't know anything about wheels in general, not really. But I've been looking at this shaft for 2 weeks at this point, and it's always made me think of an animal in a barn, sleeping, but alive. That's a weird thought to have, and I blame the podcast I listen to with my headphones on. The ones where people tell you that their house size is the dogs. You believe them? The boobs propped up behind a display case that we haven't cleared yet. I'm dragging it out when I hear the belt whisper. That's the sound. Whisper. The long leather strap that hangs off the main drive gives this drive a little shiver and shifts an inch. I'm now listening for footsteps above me, because movement in here means that someone's pulling something, right? But there's nothing. The upstairs is quiet except for a sander that's been off all day, and the muted pigeon noise from the rafters. The bell shivers again. This time, it's not imagination. I can see it. The main shaft gives it a light nudge. Tick, tick, tick. The governor's balls, those iron spheres, they rock inward like a slow inhale. I lean over the railing and look out at the water wheel through the open slats. The wheel doesn't move. The river doesn't surge. Everything outside is July still. But inside, something is saying, let's try. Tick, tick, another nudge. Sort of movement you could explain 1,000 ways. Settling fluid, thermal expansion, my own heartbeat. Except the next thing is not explainable by a heartbeat. At least not mine. The governor lives. Not a lot. A thumb is wins. It's just enough that the linkage rod connecting to it makes the tiniest metallic sound. Alex, And then I go to spill the lever, because of course there's a rational explanation, and I check it. The gate is exactly where it's been all day. Outside, the water wheel is as it is. I put my palm into the shaft anyway, because I have to know. It's not warm, but it's also not cold. Stove is cool, room cool. It's just familiar. Upstairs, Mr. Doyle calls my name, wanting to know if I've seen the box of rifles to us. My voice sounds normal when I answer. I go back upstairs, and I spend the next hour just telling myself it's fine. At some point, Alex returns, smelling like sawdust and phone frustration. We argue mildly about lunch for the next day. Subs are the diamond and the outros. For some reason, I don't mention the governor. I don't mention the bells. I wasn't exactly worried about what they would say. It was more like I was just trying to figure it out for myself. Deciding what had really happened. Later, closing up, we all go down together to make sure the windows are latched. Casually looking around, the belt looks like a belt again. Everything's normal. Governor looks like a forgotten coat hook. We lock the door, and the mill keeps its cool breath behind stones. That night I look up videos of the machinery, real diagrams. There are a million reasons that a belt might move. A draft, vibrations from upstairs, the river pushing just enough through the gate to rock the shaft, the leather relaxing. I believe those reasons. I also believe the smell of grain got incredibly strong for a few seconds there, in a building that hasn't milled anything in living memory. So those things can both be true at once. On my last day, a few weeks later, I run a clean rag along the railing by the main drive. The rag comes up gray. I fold it in quarters and keep it in my pocket. It feels corny, but I wanted a piece of this place. One that wasn't a tea towel with weight on it. Before I go, I stand by the governor and the belt and the shaft, and I say quietly, "You're gonna look great this fall." It might seem strange, but I guess when people say that a place feels alive, that mill definitely felt that way. So it didn't really feel like I was talking to a building. It's like I was talking to a person. I've gone back and forth about posting this for years. Part of me still worries that if I put it into words, Other times it was slower, like something dragging through my hair, testing how much it could take. Every time he denied it, and I believed him because I wanted to, and because I couldn't explain how I could be doing it without waking himself up. Either way, the tension between us escalated fast after that. We fought constantly, but never really about the hair pulling. It was about everything else. The way his voice would change when he was angry. Not louder, but deeper somehow. The way that he would look at me like he didn't recognize me. The way the room felt heavier when he was in a bad mood. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I asked him to move out. It really wasn't some explosive breakup. It was exhausted and sad and full of apologies. He cried. Then at some point he just shut down. Said maybe that's for the best. He packed his things and left without another word. I remember feeling relief when the door closed behind him. That relief lasted for one night. The second night I was alone, and I woke up gasping for air. It felt like my hair was being yanked hard enough to pull my hand off the pillow. I screamed, and I sat up, heart pounding. The apartment completely silent. No one there. No explanation. After that, things got harder for me. The pulling didn't stop. It became more aggressive. I started waking up with the sensation that something was leaning over me while I slept, pressing me down. My dreams even started to change. I kept dreaming I was underwater, trying to scream, only swallowing darkness as I did. I think I'm choking, my chest burning like I hadn't breathed in minutes. Then the bedroom door, it started opening itself, slamming itself. Always when I was alone, always when I was already on edge. I barely slept at that point. be wearing this jacket if it was colder. It didn't make sense, seeing it drifting like that. No other debris, no ripples. No obvious reason that it would be there. Ryan's always been the type to grab shiny things off the ground, half magpie, half raccoon. So of course he stepped down toward the edge to pull it out. He reached for a stick, hooked it through the arm, and gave it a tug. The jacket moved, so did the body wearing it. We saw the face, rather, with the face shut. It was gone, like the water had taken it. No eyes, no nose, just barely any skin stretched over bone. One side looked bloated, the other eaten away, like something had been working on it for a while. It didn't even look like a person anymore, more like something made. None of us said a word, not even Ryan. We just stared. I remember the way that one of the sleeves dragged behind in the water like it was reaching for something. I remember the way the air suddenly smelled like rust and wet leaves. And I remember the stillness. There was a stillness that didn't feel natural. Like everything had stopped to watch. It was Matt who snapped out of it first. He grabbed us by the shoulders, practically threw us back up the path. Didn't stop until we were halfway on the main road. We told the first adult we saw. Camp staff called the cops. I never found out what came of it. They told our parents that it was a drowning victim. Some guy who must have fallen off a boat, drifted down the canal. But here's the thing. We knew that water. We'd been swimming in it, canoeing in it, even fell in it once or twice. It wasn't deep enough to hide the body from long, and the canal didn't run that far. And no one ever explained the jacket. No missing person, no update, no name, just a quiet reminder not to go anywhere near that part of the trail again. I think other than actually witnessing it, the worst part has been every now and then I'll dream about that moment. The still water, the jacket turning, and that whole faceless thing looking back without eyes. This story, we're going back to the early 90s. A little context for my younger friends. There were no cell phones, no internet, and no GPS. If you wanted to meet your friends somewhere, you made plans in advance and prayed that they showed up. If you got lost, you had to stop and ask for directions or learn to read a paper map. A skill I could never master, but it's not important here. Okay, now that everyone's caught up, on with our main event. One weekend, myself and two friends made plans to go camping. We were originally supposed to meet at my house Saturday morning and drive to the site together. But my grandmother had a stroke the day before our trip. Thankfully, it was minor. But she needed someone to get her home and help watch perfect storm of bullshit. Ultimately, we decided to ditch school on Monday and keep our camping plans anyway. Now I had a choice to make. Drive home and right back again. Camp alone. No thanks. Or get a hotel. After the hotel room, there was a cheap rundown spot 15 minutes down the highway. And that was plenty good enough for me. I checked in and planned to watch TV until I fell asleep. On 3 different occasions, the TV randomly shut off by itself, but turned back on no problem. The volume also turned itself up and down at random, which got really annoying, but I blamed it on a janky hotel TV and shut wiring, because the lights kept dimming and brightening too. On top of that, people in the room next to me were annoying as hell. I assumed they must have had kids because it was too chaotic to be anything else. They kept banging into the wall, laughing like little jackals. Not once did I hear their parents do anything about it, but again, it was part of the times. And even on a long, exhausting day, by 10, I was ready to go to sleep and get the night over with. As soon as I turned the lights off, someone started knocking on my door. I got up to check. No one outside. I immediately thought the kids next door started getting angry. It was one they wanted to be behind little sheds, but discouraged me directly. I was too far. I shouted into the night that I would call the front desk if they did it again. I got back into bed, and within 10 minutes, it happened again. Even louder this time. I ran to the door, but they were already gone. I didn't hear them go back into their room, so they had to be hiding there behind. I looked around the corners behind the car. Still nothing. That's when I realized mine was the only car on this side of the lot. I walked to the front desk and told the clerk my story. It was a young girl, probably not much older than me, and the look on her face instantly freaked me out, because she clearly knew something she didn't want to say. I had to drag it out of her. Not only were the rooms next to me empty, the rest of the hotel was empty. I was the sole customer that evening. The girl tried to reassure me and get me back to my room, but I was pretty worried about what kind of creep was out there messing with me. Kids were one thing, but now it felt dangerous. Finally, she confessed that lots of people made the same complaints, that their employees never lasted long, because everyone thought the motel was haunted. I hadn't complained about the lights and TV when she confessed that also happened all the time, even in the lobby. Apparently some man had kidnapped his 2 children back in the 60s. Murder, suicide, when the cops knocked on their door. I was thoroughly freaked out, but I went back to my room. What else was I gonna do? I certainly wasn't gonna drive home at that point, but an older, wiser me definitely would have. I got back into bed and there was another loud knock on the door, just as I was finally drifting off. I didn't open the door that time. Instead, I just waited it out. Once it stopped, it didn't start again, and I finally fell asleep until about 3 a.m. That's when the covers were violently ripped off of me. I bolted upright to see them piled on the floor at the foot of the bed. My heart was already racing, and that alone was enough to do me in. But then I noticed movement in the corner. There was a straight-up transparent girl staring at me. Literally transparent. I could see the little print of her body. She looked like she was 8 years old, but half of her head was missing. I felt sick and terrified, and numb all at once. I wanted to scream, but nothing would come out. Then, right in front of me, the girl walked through the wall and disappeared. That's all I needed. I jumped out of bed, grabbed my bag in a single movement. Never before or since have I moved that fast. I didn't go back to the front desk. I just got in my car and sped out of there